Nikola Tesla, master of electricity. Nikola Tesla was the greatest inventor of the 20th century. He discovered and created some of the most influential things of all time, including the X-ray, the Tesla coil, radio, alternating current, electromagnetic motors, the turbine, and other revolutionary inventions. The radio allowed distress signals to be released, as well as military information to be transferred across long distances, and it was actually made by Nikola Tesla first, despite that Guglielmo Marconi patented it. The invention of alternating current by Nikola Tesla revolutionized home electricity as well as power across the world, making it more dangerous, but incredibly useful, which most argue was his main goal.
He was born July 10, 1856 in Smiljan near Gospic, Liga. The death of his older and only brother Dane at age 12 caused great distress, and he exhibited the first signs of his obsessive-compulsive disorder, or OCD. Some accounts indicate Tesla caused the accident by spooking the horse Dane was riding. In Gospic, at the age of 17, he contracted cholera. He was bedridden for 9 months and was near death many times. Tesla's father, in a moment of desperation, agreed to send him to an engineering school if he recovered from the illness.
Tesla, obsessed with solving the riddle of AC while at engineering school, suffers a mental breakdown and isn't expected to live. A short time later, Tesla begins to recover, and during a walk in the Városliget city park of Budapest with his friend Anthony Szigeti, the solution comes to Tesla in a vision. In his recollection of the event, Tesla states that he made a diagram of the motor in the stand with a stick. Later, Tesla demonstrates the newly completed AC motor before Mr. Bowson and several potential investors. They watched the motor with interest, but it was apparent they did not understand the value of the invention. Investors in America approached Tesla and asked him to develop an improved arc lighting system. Although this was not the opportunity he had hoped for, the group was willing to finance the Tesla Electric Light Company in Rahway, New Jersey. The proud new owner set to work and invented a unique arc lamp of beautiful design and efficiency. After completing the work, Tesla was forced out of the company and left with nothing but worthless stock certificates. Tesla later referred to this as the hardest blow he'd ever received. Tesla was later introduced to Alfred S. Brown and Charles F. Peck, a New York City attorney, who were sold on his alternating current system. After he demonstrated his egg of Columbus, Tesla agreed to split his patents on the 50-50 basis in exchange for funding. Brown located the laboratory at 89 Liberty Street, and the company filed for its first patent by the end of the month. Tesla then sells the patents for AC polyphase system to George Westinghouse for $25,000 in cash, $50,000 in notes, and a royalty of $2.50 per horsepower for each motor.
As part of an Edison-sponsored smear campaign against Westinghouse, H.B. Brown, an Ellison ally and manufacturer of electric chairs, began electrocuting animals with alternating current. The process was termed Westinghouse and was used to demonstrate the dangers of the new technology. That same year, Western Union lineman John Feeks died while working on supposed low-current telegraph lines, but he unknowingly grabbed a live alternating current wire and was killed almost instantly while being surrounded by a flock of citizens gathered below. His body continued to smolder for an hour. This caused a fear for the electric wires called the electric wire panic. Edison provided his staff to assist Brown in an effort to further damage Westinghouse's public image.
After failing to adapt to the higher frequency Westinghouse engineers required, work on the Tesla induction was abandoned. Tesla and Westinghouse renegotiated, and Tesla agreed to remove the royalties clause from their contract. In 1892, George Westinghouse won the contract to power the Columbian Exposition. The Westinghouse Company, with Tesla's guidance, built a power system for the exposition that produced 3 times more energy than was being utilized by the entire remainder of Chicago. Tesla had a large display including phosphorescent lighting, powered without wires by high-frequency fields and the egg of Columbus. The success of the Tesla polyphase system installed at the exposition ensured Westinghouse would be selected to harness Niagara.
A fire broke out in the basement of the 33rd to 35th South 5th Avenue, now West Broadway, and swept through the entire structure, including Tesla's laboratory, which occupied the entire 4th floor of the 6-story building. All of his hundreds of invention models, plans, notes, laboratory data, tools, photographs valued at $50,000 were destroyed. Tesla is quoted by the New York Times as saying, "I am too much to grief to talk. What can I say?" Meanwhile, Tesla's new AC power system enjoyed a flawless inauguration, transmitting electricity to Buffalo, New York, 22 miles away. It came first to be the Buffalo Railway Company. 1,000 horsepower switched into the company's powerhouses at exactly midnight, with a signaling of the event to the city by the firing of cannons, the blowing of steam whistles, and the ringing of bells.
Tesla's rival, Guglielmo Marconi, succeeds in sending the first radio transmission across the Atlantic Ocean. The Morse code signal for the letter S traveled more than 2,000 miles from Pole 2 in Cornwall, England, to Newfoundland, Canada. Annoyed by his rival's achievement, construction finally begins for Tesla's most ambitious project, the worldwide wireless system, known as Warden-Cliff Tower, which would make it possible to plug electronics into the ground through an iron root system more than 300 feet underground. He was then sued by the electric company that was providing him power, forcing him to tear down the tower.
The 1909 Nobel Prize for Physics is shared between Guglielmo Marconi and Carl Ferdinand Braun in recognition of their contributions to the development of wireless telegraphy. Tesla is furious and intensifies his long battle to correct the injustice. John Jacob Astor was Tesla's wealthiest and most generous investor. He invested $100,000 in 1899 for Tesla to, as he understood it, further develop and produce a new lighting system. Tesla instead used the money to fund his Colorado Springs experiments. Mr. Astor was understandably unhappy with Tesla's deception and avoided him for several years. They did later reconcile and work together on an aircraft and propulsion system in 1908. Unfortunately, Mr. Astor and his wife were aboard the Titanic, which began to sink after colliding with an iceberg. Mr. Astor was able to help his wife into a lifeboat, but was unable to join her. His body was found a few days later and is buried in Trinity Church Cemetery in New York City.
Tesla has had many great achievements throughout his inventing career. On his 75th birthday, he received many congratulatory letters from prominent scientists, including Albert Einstein. Time magazine honored him by placing his portrait on the front cover, and he even got on the New York Times. The headline on the front page read, "Tesla, at 78, bears new death beam." The article reported that the new invention would send concentrated beams of particles through the free air of such tremendous energy that they'll bring down a fleet of 10,000 enemy airplanes at a distance of 250 miles. Tesla stated that the death beam would make war impossible by offering every country an invisible Chinese wall.
One night around midnight, Tesla left the Hotel New Yorker to feed his pigeons in the park. While crossing the street, he was struck by a taxi cab and, by some reports, was thrown 35 to 40 feet across the asphalt. Even with this spectacular injury, Tesla returned to his hotel and later stated, "It merely caused customary bruises and upset my digestion a bit," unquote. Other accounts indicate 3 ribs were broken. Tesla refused treatment and remained in his room for many months. Tesla later died quietly and alone in room 3327 on the 33rd floor of the New Yorker Hotel.